Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right into our video and see what we can create. So my project of the day is another glitter tumbler, and again I'm going to be using the Tack It method to lay down my layer of glitter. And once we get all the glitter and the resin and everything, we're going to add alcohol inks, and it's going to be awesome. So the first thing you want to do is I sprayed my base color onto my cup, and it has dried. And now I'm taking the Ailene's Tack It over and over and putting it into my mixing cup, and it is a 1-to-1 ratio with water. 50% water, 50% Tack It. And I find that if I use my brush to mix the Tack It and the water together, I get a better results. And the Tack It is so thick. Using a stick, I just haven't been very successful with getting a really smooth adhesive that I want to put down. So just taking a nice coat and getting it onto the tumbler and smoothing it over the entire surface, including the bottom of the cup. Don't forget the bottom. And once you get the layer on there, you come back and just try to clean off as much of the Tack It off of your brush as you can, and I just do that by scraping the brush on the edge of my cup. And then you take your brush and you go back in and smooth that Tack It down until you don't see any streaks, you don't see nothing that looks like a blemish at all. It's just a smooth surface. And then you let that set for about 5 to 7 minutes. And then you can come back and start glittering it. And I'm just using this white holographic, it's got a rainbow kind of look to it. And I use a cup to sprinkle the glitter onto the tumbler. Using the shaker, I just get it everywhere. So I can control it better by putting it into a small cup. And then once I have used everything in the cup, it's falling on my paper that's underneath, and I just take that, put it all the glitter right back into my cup, and keep going. So make sure that you get all your surfaces, including the bottom. And once you have done that, you'll be ready to start rubbing the glitter into the Tack It. Now, I'm a little bit challenged on the Tack It method on the end of the cup. I have a tendency to throw the entire cup of glitter at one time instead of in little dashes. So it takes me a couple times to get it completely covered. But I do. So we're going to clean this glitter up. And once I have finished doing all of this, I keep my vacuum cleaner handy so that I can, any residuals that spreads outside of my paper there, I clean that up because I don't want to leave anything in my area here where it is going to be turning for several hours that could somehow contaminate the cup. I've worked with resin, and trying to find that dust-free zone sometimes is almost impossible. So I try my best to keep my area clean and prevent as much of that as I possibly can. And then after I get this all resined, I will pull my plastic down and let it sit there and just turn for about 5 or 6 hours. Right now I'm just taking my finger and I am gently rubbing over the surface of the cup. And as I do this, it pushes the glitter into the tacket and it becomes a really shiny surface. And the cup is no longer gritty from the glitter. After you do this, it's just as smooth as it can be, and the sparkle and shine from the glitter, it's just amazing. So just gonna make sure that I get all the glitter wiped off around my edges. You don't want to leave anything that you're going to have to sand later. So if you get it in the first round, then that's less sanding for you in the second round. So now we're ready to add our resin, and this is immediately after I finished cleaning up my area. Just started, have my resin ready and just start pouring. And I'm using ProMarine, which is a 1:1 ratio. And I've got it mixed up, and I have approximately 10 mils here of resin. It does not take a ton of resin to cover these. In fact, if you put too much, you run the risk of having heavier resin on one side of the cup, or drips, and it's unnecessary to use extra resin, especially not on this first layer. So I've got it covered here with the resin, and I'm going to let it turn. Going to add a little bit of heat, make sure that there's no bubbles. I want as smooth the surface as I can get, and don't forget the bottom of the cup. And make sure that that is smooth as well. So it is cured overnight, and I am adding my next layer of resin. I did not have to sand. It was a very smooth surface. It looked great, so I didn't have to sand anything down. So once I get this on here, we're going to start adding our alcohol inks. And again, I'm using very little resin for this as well. It's about another 10 mils. And if you have, don't ask me how to get to 10 mils. If it wasn't marked on my little bitty cups, I could not find it. So the cups that I got from Hobby Lobby for their tumbler turning projects is wonderful. So that's what I use to mix my resin for this. So I'm using some Marabu inks, some Pinata inks, and some Tim Holtz. And these are going to be all different colors. It's going to be a rainbow, and I will list all the colors that I use in the description box below the video. And I'm coming back after I have put the inks on there, and I'm adding a little bit of Pinata white, and just to tone that down, and it just helps the whole look of the cup as you turn. Right now it looks like just a bunch of blobs, but as it continues to turn, it does amazing things, and it will not look like this at all. I mean, it'll be multicolored, but it won't be this blobby mess that you see here. And I also have some of the Marabu Rainbow that I'm going to add over the surface of the cup. And when you add that rainbow, it is so beautiful. It's a game changer. That's it right there. I'm just adding that, sprinkling it in different places all over. And you have to be careful with that, because you saw me had a little flare up there with the heat gun. So just be very, very careful with it. Didn't harm my cup, thank goodness. So I'm just coming back in with some more colors. And you can see how those colors are starting to move together and blend into each other. Some of them are even mixing and making new colors that I didn't even use on the cup at all. Here's some more rainbow. Touch up a few more places. And give it a good dose of heat. Come back with some more. And I just keep repeating this process. And you can see here how they're blending more and more. And now I'm going after those blending colors, trying to make them blend with each other. And I'm also using some of the Pinata Gold. So it really, with that rainbow effect and the Pinata Gold, it just, when I show you the final pictures of this, it's just unbelievable. Once I let this cure, I did come back and add a top layer, and it gave it such a cool 3D effect in the areas where I had added the rainbow. It just creates a depth to it, and when you top coat it with that next layer, it was the most unusual. I've never had that effect with anything that I've done with alcohol inks before, but I've never used the rainbow alcohol ink before either. So just using a little bit of spray alcohol as well to help these colors blend. And finding a few more places to add the rainbow. And this was after it had dried, and I'm adding the top coat. But look, you can see the shimmer of the gold, you can see the shimmer of that rainbow, that it blended with the other colors, and it is beautiful. I am so pleased with this one. And I'm going to show you the finished product right here. Look at the depths of those colors. I absolutely love it. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please click like and share. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I love to hear your feedback. I try to answer every single one of them. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified if you ring that bell next to it for when I upload future videos. And I'm going to leave you looking at this shimmer on here. If you have never tried the Marabu Rainbow Alcohol Ink, try to get you some and see what effects you can get with it, because it is amazing. So, I want to thank y'all for joining me today. And here is the bottom. Make sure you do your bottoms. And as the cup turns, it makes its own special swirl design on the bottom, which is kind of cool to me. I like that. Alright guys, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in my next creative escapade. Bye bye.